This episode of the podcast is brought to you by New Bloom Labs.
Delta 8 has been all the hype in non-adult use states throughout the country. But did you know that many Delta 8 products have significant quantities of Delta 9 in them as well? Well, that's because most cannabis labs have a hard time accurately analyzing Delta 8, but not New Bloom Labs. New Bloom Labs delivers clear, precise chromatography of Delta 8 products. New Bloom Labs also leads the industry of potency testing of Delta 9, 2 isomers of Delta 10, and a dozen other major and minor cannabinoids that are shaping the industry. Give them a call today at 844-TEST-CBD or visit their website at newbloomlabs.com. If you have ever questioned your lab's potency reports of Delta 8 products, it's time to try New Bloom Labs. They'll deliver the most precise Delta 8 analysis in the country and show you the raw chromatography to back it up. Superior science, rapid results, that's New Bloom Labs.
This episode of the podcast is brought to you by Canna Health.
EndoDNA is the world's first and most comprehensive personalization platform focusing on the endocannabinoid system tailored to your specific DNA. In other words, EndoDNA is a simple DNA test that maps your entire endocannabinoid system and then matches that summary with a specific cannabinoid ratio and terpene profile that is aligned with your unique genotype. Imagine a roadmap to your best cannabis experience that is tailored to your unique needs and body chemistry. Visit their website at endodna.com/products to purchase the EndoDNA collection kit and Endo Decoded report and use the promo code CONNECT15 for a 20% discount. Again, that website is endodna.com/products and the promo code to use is CONNECT15 for a 20% discount. The future of personalized cannabinoid therapeutics is here with EndoDNA. Hello, my fellow people of the plant. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Cannabinoid Connect podcast, your favorite podcast that includes industry-facing conversations with the industry's leading experts that aim to educate and inform the public regarding the plant's endless benefits. My guest today is Corvain Cooper. He's a brand ambassador at 40 Tons. Corvain Cooper, what is going on, man?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm blessed. I'm happy to be here.
Hey, well, I'm super excited to have you here, man. It's an honor to have you on. We talk on this podcast often about the injustice, that we've seen within the cannabis space, particularly people of color, brown and black people. And your story is really incredible. I know that you were recently released out of prison through President Trump's clemency pardon. So before we get into all that, Corvain, let's first talk about, your background, who you are, and kind of what led you on this path that you're currently on in terms of, reform in the cannabis space.
It all started with going to jail for cannabis first. I think it starts there. People would think that it starts with selling the cannabis, which I started selling the cannabis in 2003. But to me, it actually starts when you become a victim of the society and become a victim of people making billions and millions while you serve the time. I think that's when it really kicks in, because when you're actually selling, how 40 Tons started, when we're actually selling the eighth and grind your way up, you're only seeing like the glory in it, and you're seeing what the other billionaires that are investing in it now, you're getting the experience what their experience when you're promoting it back and you're selling on the corners and you're selling it, but you're not, you haven't got the downfall yet to it. So what the difference is, they're selling all around the world and they get to have millions of stores and millions of this, million that, but they don't get the downfall from it because there's no penalty. So once I actually received my first penalty was a year in 2011, and I served time.
And was that just basically just selling of cannabis on the streets? Like, was it, and I mean, I'm sure it was a petty, non-violent crime. So that was 1 year, but what was actually what did they charge you with,
They charged me with a pound of marijuana. I just had a pound of marijuana in the trunk, but I'm driving around with everybody in the car with it. But to me, at that time, I had tons of pounds. So 1 pound was so might to me at that time. So
For sure.
I was careless and I had a pound of marijuana in the car, but it was 4 people in the car. I've always been a stand-up person. So if you're in the car with me, I'm going to tell the police that it's mine. So I'm not going to make us all go to trial and make us all fight
Sure.
this charge. So I wouldn't
Sure.
turn myself in. I got out 2012.
For a pound, you went to jail for 1 year for 1 pound. That is crazy, man. Wow.
Yes.
So okay, so you do your time there, and at the time, right? I mean, I don't think that even California was legal adult use at that point. So there was still this kind of real stigma and criminalization around the plant. So okay,
I
you
still
get
had a medical card, so it was playing hopscotch around that time. I had a medical card, and then the medical card would let me. If I was on probation when I got out, I could still smoke marijuana in 2012.
got you.
I would have to go to the office more and urinate more, but you could still go to the actual office. So it was medical legal. I have my card. I'm starting my clothing line. I've always been in the clothes. You see what I'm saying? So I'm thinking I'm out the game. Actually, I
Right.
didn't even know that I was still in the game. You know what I mean? I got my one strike, then I got the second strike for I had a bottle of codeine cough syrup. So that was two.
Right.
So, but I still don't think nothing of it because I don't plan on getting in any trouble. So I have two strikes. But who cares? But now my pass, because I stopped selling marijuana in '09. So my pass came back and haunted me January 28, 2013 is when the feds came and got me before the 5 year, because you have 5 years to get out of the conspiracy. You have 5 years of it won't be relevant conduct anymore. You see what I'm saying?
You're
So
saying you're saying there's basically like a 5 year window for when you're first convicted of a crime, and if you go through that 5 year window without any other offenses, you're kind of starting from scratch, right? But if you're caught, then you have to go to prison, or I'm sure that the penalty is more severe.
right, because you have to say you exited the conspiracy within the 5 years. So we're at the fourth year. So it was '09, that was 2013. Now here they're coming like, hey, hold on. Remember, we know what you did last summer. We know what's going on with you. You know what I mean? And you sold weed back in the day, and we're coming to get you for it. So they came and got me, expedited me to Charlotte. I've never been to Charlotte in my life.
And this was
And
because of an
I said,
offense that was previous. They didn't get you on anything else. They came and knocked on your door for a previous cannabis offense. That was it not settled, or like what?
no, because conspiracy was ongoing. So they're saying, oh, yeah, you moved all these pounds back in. They don't care that it was in '09. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You still sold weed in our state in '09. You shipped it. No, you didn't touch it. You shipped it from California, and that's what you did. And now you're going to have to pay for it. So I chose to go to trial because they didn't have any witnesses. I've never been to Charlotte. I never met the people in Charlotte. You only have information from people that are giving you information that's in jail trying to get a time cut. You see what I'm saying? So
Right.
Evelyn, and Natalia all chose to go to trial. And we went to trial October 2013.
And that's
So,
Evelyn LaChapelle, who's also been on the show, because this was the same conspiracy, right?
right. We're all in the same conspiracy. So we're all co-defendants. So we all went to trial and said, you know what? That's it. We're going to trial. This is what we choose to do. And this is the decision that we make. Evelyn's
Wow.
here too, by the way. Evelyn can say, come here real quick. Hold on.
Evelyn, what's up? Good. Good to see you again. I was just gonna sing your praises because yeah, you're such an amazing individual, and I'm learning very quickly that Corvain, you are too, man. Because we actually talked about you during Evelyn's episode, so it's just awesome to see full circle how it's come. And I got to tell you, before we dive into that third offense where it was on that conspiracy and you actually went to prison for 10 years. I gotta tell you, Corvain, it just brings so much joy and happiness, man, to like see your Instagram and like see you with your daughters and just reuniting with friends and rebuilding your life. It's really awesome, and of course we'll get to that. You know what I mean? But I just wanted to throw that out there, man. I'm glad that you're out.
Yeah. It was Evelyn's birthday. We celebrated that yesterday. So we got something for you guys, and stay tuned. There's some more stuff for you guys to see.
Nice.
What we did on her birthday and surprise you guys.
Nice. Well, so yeah, so tell me, so the feds knock on your door, you're taken to Charlotte, like, I mean, you guys go to trial, so
And
then
we've all never been to Charlotte, so we're extradited to a state that we've never been to. You know what I mean? So imagine you're sitting in jail. You're in states you've never been to. You know what I mean? So we're all out of bounds. They're still out on the street when we go to trial. And then we're seeing how the system works because now we're caught up in conspiracy. If you sold, this is you. If you, Kevin, sold marijuana 4 years ago with
Right.
somebody, and now you're out doing your radio show, you're out living your life, everything's great, and then he decides, no, what, I don't want to do no time. I actually want to tell on Kevin. You know what I mean? Kevin's getting away with too much. He's doing his radio show at home with his kids. I really don't like that. I really want Kevin to be in here with me. He has the power. You know what I mean? Like, why are you giving a criminal never has power until
No.
they take another person off the street? That's the only time they have power. So now he
And
can get power to take you off the street and join you in a conspiracy. Now you and your wife and everybody's in a conspiracy that you sell marijuana, and all he needs is that you was really calling him, talking about what's going on with his kids, but they're going to show at the trial that you talked to him 20 different times. It's going to show a call.
and I can't imagine that they're
You know what I mean? Fall out. No one knows what you guys are talking about on the phone.
and that's what I'm saying. I can't imagine that they're pulling evidence, right? Like if this guy in prison saying this and saying you were an accomplice or I was an accomplice, right? And they're not going back in phone records and actually looking this stuff up to really, confirm what that person's saying. Are they just going off of his word and that's it? His word
His
versus yours?
word, listen, his word is everything. And they're just going to show a call log of your phone number calling his phone number. We don't know what y'all talked about during that time. You feel what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
y'all had a call log. They're going to show the call log. And he's going to make all these stories that you just kept selling his weed. And now they're coming to get you off the street.
That
That's
is
simple.
so insane. So no evidence, no record of what you guys actually talked about on the phone. This guy's in prison. He's salty. So he goes ahead and says,
It's really like a money laundering trial, really, because they're just showing Evelyn's bank statements and Natalia's bank statements. So it's really a money laundering trial because they're making the money add up to 40 tons. You see what I'm saying? Like,
right.
where is the 40 tons at? You feel what I'm saying? Like, everyone would like to see the 40 tons. You know what I mean?
Wow. And that's where the brand name came about. That's fucking awesome.
Look at October 18th, I believe that's when we got found guilty. Look up the trial date, the Charlotte, Mecklenburg County, the Charlotte Observer should have it. And just look up Corvain Cooper, Evelyn LaChapelle, and Natalia Wade, our trial date. That's when we got found guilty.
Did you?
40 tons came about.
That is so crazy. Did you actually face that guy in trial? Did you guys like look at each other face to face?
It hurts because these are people that I've known over 20 years. The people that testified against me, I know them over 20 years. So, you lose a lot of fake friends, but you gain a lot of real ones. You know what I mean?
For sure.
Who's real and fake on this. Especially when you go away. Now when you go away, I want to wait for life. You know what I mean? So people are not suspecting you to come out. So you get to see who's who during these type of situations.
Did you serve time with him, or were you all in separate prisons?
Oh, no. We're not out holding hands and eating candy together. No, we're separate. We're separate teams. Like, we can never be in the same.
Right.
You know.
Right. No, that totally makes sense. So, okay, so you're in. The trial ends. They life sentence, which is absurd, insane. Like, what's running through your head? Like, one day, like you said, I'm out living my regular life, and then I get a random knock on the door by the feds, and now I'm looking at life in prison.
Right. So what happens is I can't acknowledge it, or I can't ever say it out of my mouth like I got life. So I always stood on my faith that not only from the beginning, everybody can tell. You can even look at like an old post, like when you get off this thing, or anybody that's watching, just go to Corvain Cooper's page. And I've sent this from jail. You feel what I'm saying? And it's going to say, my minus is going to be my plus. The same thing that brought me down is going to be the same thing that brings me back up. And that's a post that's like, maybe like, I might be posted that like in November, October when I'm still in there. You know what I mean? So people can go back to an October old post and they were seeing it to say CB on the bottom. Sometimes I'll write letters and say, we post this. And I always stood on that. And I always said, like, you have to make the best out of this. And I'll call it, let's start I'll call Ant and say, man, Ant, let's start the thing, man. Let's get the 40 tons started. Let's start getting the the LLC together and let's start, you know what I mean? Let's get it going
So,
where
so you're doing that as you're in prison. You're thinking gotta live by that motto, and so that's when you're calling people when you can to start doing this, or is that after?
right now this is during
Wow.
t-shirts is already out during. So we're already figuring out evidence is already the first person ever to try to do the gummies drop in 2 weeks. So evidence, they built the prison to help prisoners. So they were already, let's start a pre-roll, let's do this, let's do different things in order to help me. And I was like, yeah, well, we have to actually use all this energy and turn it into something good. You see what I'm saying? So I said,
Mm-hmm.
how can we turn it into something good? Well, first we need to make it into a brand. You know what I mean? And first we have to do this, and first we have to get all our paperwork in order and
Right.
have the logistics correct where everything, because there's a lot of red tape in this game. So let's get all of that in order. Once we got all that in order, now all we got to do is just push the message, because my face is on the shirt now. You know what I mean? But justice has been served for me. So there's 40,000 other people that justice need to be served for. So we got Parker Coleman that we want to, you know what I mean, do first, and Luke. You feel what I'm saying? So we need to change it. Because I don't care if we did 5 days or 5 years. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So 50 years. You got John Knox that did 31 years. You see what I'm saying? So you have people that been promoting this drug and been on the front line, moved boats and this for this kind of this industry to get to where it's at now. And we're just like, where's our retribution at? We're just
Right.
like the veterans. We stood front line
Right.
and
Right.
promoted the drug. Couldn't get promoted without the people on the corner selling it. They've been the biggest advertisers of the drug. You feel what I'm saying? So I was always telling people like, man, they need to start an initiative where there's 700 stores just in California alone. So if each store donated $100, it's $70,000 a month, $840,000 a year. That can go towards a fund of when people come out, their reentry, their medical, like Michael petitioner, how he's in a wheelchair and he's handicapped. So I don't think you want him to work at Taco Bell. You know what I mean? So you have all these people that's been gone all this time for promoting this drug and selling this drug. Where's the fund for them? That'll be 840,000 just to help just the prisoners alone. You have someone run the fund.
Right.
It's like you run a veteran fund. You know what I mean? And certain people, he gets this amount of check this month for his medical and his dental and this and this. You know what I mean? For all the people that's serving for the cannabis, and that's only $100. So imagine if they gave two, it doubles up. You
Right.
know what I mean? Into the store, that's like a nip in the butt. In the butt,
Exactly.
each dispensary did this. You know what I mean? So and will help out tremendously. Now cannabis has their own world. You know what I
Right.
mean? They have their
Right.
own fun, their own world. People know like boom, the cannabis industry has my back. If I did sell this time, we got somewhere they can go. Same way the
Right.
veterans got a place to go. Same way if you play in the NBA, you have somewhere to go. An NFL player, they have somewhere to go. You know what I mean?
I
So
I totally get it, Corvain. Like, I mean, I could see the frustration in terms of like what you're saying. The guys that have been locked up and served their time in prison for so long, 10, 20, 30 plus years, those are the ones that were at the forefront of this industry, right? Whether it was illicit market or not. People have seen cannabis, they use it in different ways, whether it's recreation, therapeutic, medicinal, but it's not right now that the industry is flourishing right in adult use states, and it's a legitimate industry, and there's people that are still serving time, or if they've gotten out somehow, there needs to be some fund to kind of help bring those people back into the fold, right, as the industry becomes more legitimized and official, right?
right.
And that totally makes sense. So that fund that you're talking about, has that been a suggestion that you've
Yeah,
kind of?
I've been suggesting it, and and I'm trying to make 40 tons. Even though we're not a nonprofit, we can be a part. We're a social impact brand, so we can still be one of the people that promote it. And since I came up with it, put us on the board, and we can by me talking. I have 10 letters in there from prison. You feel what I'm saying? So by me knowing where the money needs to go, I would want to be on the board or something like that, so I can
Right.
show you like, okay, this money is for people that needs visits. So
Right.
people that need to fly out there and visit them. You know what I mean? They don't have the money, so that money goes towards visiting. This money goes towards their commissary, and this goes towards their reentry. And you know what I mean?
You,
I know where it needs to go because
you would
I'm
have you would have a you would have a business plan, you would have a cash flow sheet, and to kind of show where the funds would go because you have that experience. You've seen it firsthand, right? So
right.
like tell me if you could guess, this is just a ballpark, but like the time you served in prison, what was the percentage of people that were in there for like cannabis petty related crimes like that? Like how many percentage would you say made up the prison?
By me at being at such a high level, you know what I mean? I was at a USP, so I was at a high level, so I would say like 1%. You know what I mean? Like,
Well, you're saying that because you're at such a high level in terms of your incarceration, and if that's so, that's crazy because they're equating a cannabis related offense to something that's more severe, right?
right, but it's because see the what it is the life sentence does that. So they think if you have a life sentence, you need to be at a max because you have nothing to live for, and you're you know what I mean. We need to put you around all the killers and all this and that. You know what I mean. So people that don't have a life sentence, they're all at lows and camps, and they're getting to proceed on with their life and do their time better. I'm locked down most of the time because there's always much violence going on. I used to post the violence. I used to send, like, if you look at old posts, I was like, they just stabbed the police, or they just did this, or there was 2 murders, you know what I mean? So I will post that so people can see not only am I a non-violent criminal and they have never committed any crimes of violence in my life, but they have me in the most violent prison in the world. You know what I mean? Like it's top 5 in the United States. You know what I mean? So
But that had to have been terrifying, man. Like, I mean, I'm not one to act tough, this and that. Like, that would be freaking. I mean, you're like you said, you're with people that are convicted murderers, this and that, and you've never been around people like that before or surrounded yourself like it, and now you're being treated just like one of them. And I mean, how did you navigate that?
I used it, and I always use myself as like they tell me in letters now, like they miss my energy. My energy, I know how to, by growing up in the ghetto, I know how to be around that without having to feel, you know what I mean, and bring this situation down. I bring everybody up. My thing is, I'm the glue. I bring everybody together. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of use that and
You're a likable guy. You're a
I'm
likable
like, yeah,
guy.
I'm like the likable type of guy. So I can be around that and still know how to hold my own where I'm not getting punked or nothing like that, where you know that I'm, hey, hold on. But I
Right.
know how to still grip it where I can bring all the people together that people can't bring together. You feel what I'm saying? Like I know how to do that. I'm really good at that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I totally understand what you're saying. Yeah, yeah. You kind of know you're self-aware. So you know kind of how to act, and people respect you enough to where they're not going to punk you around and try to take advantage of you because you're likable, right? Um,
Right.
so Corvain, so like as you're sitting in this high maximum prison for a cannabis related crime with people that have done much more severe crimes and things, like are you just sitting back going like how broken is this system? And of course you made your business on that premise, but the other second question is like were you starting to hear about the cannabis industry booming also while you were incarcerated, and how did that make you feel if so?
Not only booming, I'm big on stocks. I get up and listen to the stock market for the last 6, 7 years. So I got my daughters on stocks, and
Nice.
I'm really, really big on that. You know what I mean? She just got some AMC and some IMAX because it's going to be big for
I'm holding my AMC still.
Day.
Yeah, I said I'm
Yeah,
still
yeah,
holding my
it's
AMC.
back at $9. It'll be at 15 in no second. So and some other stocks because they're opening all the amusement parks, and when this world opens, they're going to run out like it's going to be a massive. People are tired of being locked in the house, so get ready. You know what
For
I mean?
sure.
So, I would see that and see like, dang, I remember when Cannabis Growth Corp was $3. You know what I mean? Like, you know, his market cap is at now to $37. You know what I mean? And I remember Tilray was a $4 stock. You know what I mean? So I would look at all this Aurora Cannabis and Cresco and all that and True Leaf, and I'm watching, you know, the CEO was Kim Rivers, and you know what I mean? I studied all
Yeah,
this stuff. So,
Corvain, you're in the MSO
yeah, yeah.
gang, bro.
So, yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I'm on the stocks, serious. You know what I mean? And I tell my kids now that Instead of buying those shoes, you need to get, USMJ and all these and get them while they're at a penny. Get them while they're 3 cents a share. Sit on 1 million shares. So now, at some point, all of this is going to explode. And when it does, and when it goes federally and it explodes, because they got to get this money from somewhere. That's why I got in on DraftKings. I had to get in on DraftKings at $38. You know what I mean?
Right. Right.
So because now the legalization of gambling has a $105 price target. The legalization of gambling, the marijuana, they got to get this money that they're stealing, that they don't have, that they're getting all the stimulus. They have to repay it back. So they're going to repay this back in taxes from legalizing gambling, from legalizing marijuana, and that's how they're going to get all the money back, that they're all these trillions that they stole. So with all that going on, I'm trying to teach them that young so we can grow with them. Now you just spent $5,000 and you got 1 million shares of 8 different companies. You're just waiting on one of them to reach $1. You know what I mean? So
you're preaching you're preaching gospel right now. Yeah, you're a smart guy, man. You're not joking when you're involved in the stock market. And so that was a clear indication when you were in prison where you're like, okay, I see not only is it booming, it's skyrocketing. And how did that make you feel? Was it expected, or was it kind of like, did it make you angry, or both?
It kind of just threw me for a loop. You know what I mean? Because I was like, damn. But you kind of get hope from it too, because you're like, well, if it's in the stock market, then I gotta have a chance. My day has to be coming at some point. You see what I'm saying? Like, there's no way in the world that they can make billions, and then you can just lead in here like that. But then I always wanted it to be a big deal too. You feel what I'm saying? Because if it's not a big deal, then you don't have the platform. You feel what I'm saying? So if you do just get the time served and everybody just goes in one day, then it's like, oh, you're out with the other four. You know what I mean? It's like, it's not, I always wanted the platform so I can tell everybody what's really going on, because I know what's going on in there. So I kind of use that to like, wait a minute, let it be this way. And I prayed for the right things, and then just God just manifested. But I was like, if you put it on the stage, now everybody can see it. You know what I mean? But if you don't put it on the stage, like if we were asking for 10 years time served, but God kept blocking it. We kept getting denied. Me and my lawyer kept getting denied. And we're like, damn, how do we keep getting denied? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
Wow.
it happened for, I think everything happens for a reason. So you got to use your leverage, and you got to use everything for the leverage that you're on. You feel what I'm saying? And you have to use the platform the correct way and say, okay, this is what needs to be done. You have to put it out there in the universe and say, listen, I know the people that's in there. I'm talking to them. I talked to Parker Coleman. You know what I mean? I talked to Luke's. I talked to these people, so I know what they need. I've been in there behind the wall, and now I'm out on the wall. They need somebody to voice the same way my name was voiced and kept my name going. They need somebody to keep their name going so people can know they even exist. See,
Right.
people are driving around. They don't know that people have 60 years in life. They don't know it. So people are just driving down the street. So if I don't do it, who's going to do it? You know what I mean? So,
Yeah, no, it makes so much sense. It's almost like you were destined, you know what I mean? Kind of. And while of course it was unfortunate, and the pain and suffering that you had to endure during that time, I mean, it's put you in a position to do such great things, like with this purpose that you have now. And before we move on to the next topic, I got to tell you, Corvain, one thing that I'm thinking immediately, in addition to everything you're doing with 40 tons and all that, is education to inner city kids, about the stock market and investing. I mean, that's one area in our education system that we don't talk about at all, right? I mean, not even to mention like personal finances and whatnot. And it's awesome that you're teaching your girls that, because I didn't get that teaching growing up. But man, that's a huge opportunity, for kids in low socioeconomic areas to really learn about how they can make money, especially in an industry like cannabis that, like you said, is right at the beginning, like, buying $1 or $2 for some of these stocks.
right. If you can get on it now, I'm telling you, it can grow with you. I'm telling them, like, okay, look, don't think now. Think when you're 16, and that just then turns into that little $500 that turned into $150,000 or $200,000 while you're already 16. Because if you believe in it's going to be federal legally, and you believe that's going to be everywhere in the next couple of years, then you need to invest now. You know what I mean? So
Right.
you be in front of the curve. You know what I mean?
And even if it's not federally legal, the states are going to overturn the federal regulation at some point because the states are all seeing the tax revenue benefits, right? And
Right,
so
right,
they're just going to vote to do it anyway. So it's a
right.
good
They got to put
position.
that money. People got to know they got to put these trillions back there taking.
They're printing that. They're printing that money out, my man.
Yeah, and people need to know that the dollar is weak. You know what I
Right.
mean? So they need to know that we have the weakest dollar, and that's why Bitcoin is going up. And you might want to get Dogecoin while it's cheap because people didn't believe in Bitcoin. So I said, well, buy some Dogecoin. Get it
Right.
while it's 57 cents. You feel what I'm saying? So why don't get it while it's 57 cents to see it explode because you don't know when it's going to explode. You see what I'm saying? So you got to just get in everything while it's cheap because gold, silver, and everything's going to go up every time the dollar gets weaker. Then you have Biden big on infrastructure. So you need to be on infrastructure. You need to be on Cleveland Cliffs and the things that are building because he's going to steadily do more building. We already did the electric run where it just went up where it has to go back up where I got in a Neo at $11. You know what I mean?
Nice.
So it took it to run. So I had my daughter get in at $11. But it's just I had to tell her once you have more money, you get more results. You know what I mean? Because the
Right.
same way you make $400, it's the same way you make $400,000. The only thing is different is the denominations. Like
Right.
this person bought 1,000 shares, and you bought 10. You know what I mean? So you just
Yep.
got to balance your portfolio and see what it is that you're buying. You know what I mean?
It's so important, such an important skill set, especially this day and age when you don't know what's going to happen, right? Pandemics and this, that, and the other. But one thing I do want to shift to and talk to you about is there's, as you're aware, and as we hear about in the news constantly and whatnot, is the racial injustice in this country, right? And I want to get your thoughts on how racial injustice is, or if you believe that it's tied to cannabis federal prohibition, right? Like we hear the new administration, we hear this, the new Democrat leadership coming in and talking about addressing racial injustice, which is great. But in my view, the war on drugs has been a huge part of racial injustice. So tell me your thoughts on cannabis prohibition and how you think that plays into racial injustice in this country.
I think like I would just be glad when it's just all over the whole racial thing. You know what I mean? But it's like it's very, very, very big. You know what I mean? It's very, very big, especially when you see it now that you're out and you've been gone for these years and how they just have. I mean, they got the line wrapped around the corner. The cookies yesterday, the lines wrapped around the cup, around the corner. You know what I mean? It's like,
Right.
so you just see all the marijuana, then you start to see all the businesses, and you're like, damn. You look at all the businesses, and you're like, damn, did they ever sell weed before? Or or is this just a money making thing? Like I sold weed to survive, to try to get better things in life. You know what I mean? Like I didn't sell it. Oh, I didn't just come up and just come outside and say, boom, let's sell cigarettes. Like if I seen Newports at the gas station and I started selling Newports because I noticed that when I stood in line, 5 people in front of me got Newports. And
Right.
that's kind of how the marijuana thing is now. We're like, okay, that's the thing. Okay, well, I can open a dispensary. What is it, 40, 50,000? And I get the license. I get the, where it's become trendy. You know what I mean? Where it's trendy, where you just see them all day long. Where a guy said yesterday, like, we were just passing by on Melrose. He said, we didn't have a mask on at the time. Oh, he don't care, got a mask, just come in and buy some weed. And they're like, no, we can't even buy any weed. You know what I mean? But it was
Yeah.
just, they're just aggressive. The people outside is, you know what I mean? So it's a lot. You know what I mean? It's a lot
Yeah.
to the change of it, to see like, wait a minute, everybody's getting into the game that's never may not even, you don't even have to know about it. You don't even have to know the different strands because now you can get into the game and you have no history of marijuana. You don't know nothing about growing it. You don't know anything about it. You just know, okay, I need to get me 10 Gorilla Glues in this section. I need to get me 10 of the, you know what I mean? I need 10 cookies and this and this, and then it just sells itself because people have already made the brand so big. That's what I mean by branding. I was big on branding because once you make the brand so big, it's 90% illusion where they just think automatically that this product is good because it's involved with this name. You know what I mean?
Right.
So we want to make a brand that when you're involved with this, that's the same way you feel about 40 tons. You feel that, wait a minute, I'm a part of something because these are the people that's really getting out from this. This is the person who really had the 40 tons. It's the person who really did time for this. So instead of being part of the brand of they got basketball players and this and that. And, you know what I mean? It's like Larry Bird, he's never had, you know what I mean? Like they have a Larry Bird strand. I don't think Larry Bird even smokes weed. You know what I mean? So that's me personally thinking that Larry Bird might smoke tons of weed, but you know, it's just we want people to know like not only are you a part of something, that you're helping a good cause too. You know what I mean? So it's
Yeah.
gonna be it's a double whammy.
Right. And do you, so on that topic of like, undoing those wrongs and making sure that those legacy operators, again, who have gone through so much that they're not forgotten and they're supported. Do you feel like the industry is doing, I mean, a good job at this point? You've mentioned some brands that are, coming together and whatnot, but what more could be done, you know?
I think we can start off with what they have to have. They need to have a fund for everybody. You know what I
Right.
mean? I think that's one of the biggest things that when people are getting out, you know, if you need to go to the dentist or go to the doctor or go in the jobs that you're going to be offered, is might not even have those kind of plans. You know what I mean? So you might not have an insurance plan. You know what I mean? So I think that's one of the first things of initiative I think that they need to do. And then they need to just go on and change the law and just go on and let 40,000 people out would be safe. You know what I mean?
That
Needs to
needs
be
to happen fast.
that
Yeah.
needs to happen a little faster. And then after the 40,000 people get out, you know what I mean? Let them have something that they can come, let them have something that they can be a part of. You feel what I'm saying? And if you set a little fun for them and they get out and they know now the cannabis industry, now that gets bigger. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
As a whole, it gets bigger because now people know that the cannabis industry has their back. You know
Right.
what I mean? So now, like, yeah, I'm a part. You know, you can say it proud, like, you know, when you go to the doctor, here's my card. You know, I'm part. You know, like I wear my LPP hat proudly because I'm a part of something. I'm on the board of LPP. I
Right.
know they have my back. You know what I mean? They've shown me. You know what I mean? So that's the same way you want to be a part of the fun of the cannabis industry, where someone like LPP runs it or someone runs it, where they have somewhere they can run to. Like the veteran has somewhere he can run to. I served in the war. You need to fix my teeth or fix my leg. I served.
Right. And
You know what I
you
mean?
got the
So, you know,
VA that does that, right? So why not
right.
something like the VA? Yeah.
And let 40 tons be on the board. So 40 tons can tell you that from the inside. I'm the first person to let club talk to Parker Coleman from the inside. You know what I mean? Like let y'all talk to people who's serving the time on. You know what I mean? Like you you're saying that you want to do this and do that. Here he is. He's on the phone. He's on the phone
Right.
right here on Club.
Right.
Thousands of people listening. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
that's where I come in at. You know what I mean? I come in at to give you the real, show you the real letters and post the real letters. Like, no, this is what's going on. They're back on lockdown for another 3-4 months. You know, this is what's taking place behind the walls. And that's where I come in at to give the game the real. 40 Sons, we're the real deal. You know what I mean? So that's
Yeah.
all we want. We want people to be a part of something that's real. You know what I mean?
Abs-
That really happened.
Absolutely, man. No, and no better person than you to be that representation and that voice, And we did say those people, they need to, the 40,000 people that are still locked up, they need to be released immediately, and that absolutely needs to happen. But I'm also thinking with this fund or that kind of safety net for those people, for the social equity component once they get out, is also needs to happen quick, because we don't want to release them so soon with no kind of plan to help them kind of navigate right once they're released. So these initiatives do go hand in hand. And Corvain, you're like I said, perfectly positioned to do it, and you're doing a great job, my man. So as we wrap up, is there anything that you want to leave the audience with? The floor is yours, man.
I want you to go to 40tons.co right now, get your Justice Serve t-shirt. We're trying to make these change. I want the face to change. I'm gonna keep wearing it until it changes, until Parker Coleman's on there and Luke's on there and the rest of the people. So we want these to change. Got the Justice Serve t-shirts, hats. We got more stuff coming up that we're doing. We're doing the executive clemency is better than the lottery. We just trademarked that. So you'll be able to get those t-shirts on there. So it's better than the lottery. Executive clemency is way better than the lottery. So we got it looks easy to carry, but it's hard to hold. You know what I mean? So we got those 40 tons, and then we got the skateboards. It's going to be big. We're going to have me. Everybody's going to have their own skateboards. Our prison ID. I think I got a picture of prison ID. the prison ID is going to be a skateboard within itself. So
What?
yeah, so you're going to be able to get the skateboard. That's my prison ID. I still carry it
For
with me
those
everywhere.
listening, he's holding up his prison ID here. You hold that and you still carry it today?
Yeah, I still have it. So we got that coming out. Evelyn's going to have her own skateboard. Natalia, Anthony, we're all going to have our own skateboards. So the skateboards are coming. We're trying to get that to y'all. It's kind of fast. So we're going to have skateboards. We're having a newspaper clipping of our actual trial, and me, Evelyn, my spell's actual trial. That's going to be a skateboard within itself. So we're going to try to have those out quickly. You know what I mean? You can go to GoFundMe, and that's my Corvain Cooper, my GoFundMe for the reentry, because milk is not free. Socks aren't free. I found out tissue's not free. Nothing's free. The kids play Robux and it's just the whole world just moves so fast. So
Right.
no dollar is too small. You know what I mean? So everyone helped to go to fund. That's why I have a roof over my head. And that's why I'm out of the hood. I got out. I was in the hood. There was 5 killings in the hood while I was over there. You know what I mean? So I'm out the hood now and I can breathe. You know what I mean? Thanks to the people. So every dollar you'll see where the dollar goes to. Somebody sent me the twin link with the Mac computer. You know what I mean? So
Oh, that's awesome. Now you can get some work done, man.
I get work done. It's just, it's just a blessing. So
yes.
If you look at my page, you'll see I thanked her yesterday. So everybody, I'm very humble, and everybody that gave $5 to 50 cents to $1,000, it's just, it all went towards me and my kids and our upbringing and me being able to be in a house, because I can't sit here for an hour and work at Taco Bell at the same time. So I do more work and I can do more for the cause and more for the good when the reentry is all together. So that's big. And I'm very thankful for that, for the people who's donated. And I just want to thank God. And I think 40 tons, we got the gummies coming out in 2 weeks. Those will be in stores. You know what I mean? We got a deal with Blaze coming up. So we got to work out the kinks with that. But evidence and 40 tons, we're gonna kick this thing off. It's gonna really be something beautiful. It's gonna be something beautiful.
Awesome, man. I love your energy, Corvain, and you bring joy to a lot of people, man. It's so great to see you out and thriving, and it's so encouraging to see other people reaching out and helping and supporting, through the GoFundMe, which you mentioned, and other means, and I'll be sure to link those websites in the YouTube description box so that people can find your GoFundMe, your Cash App, and your social media channels as well, man. So
right, because somebody got me $75 from Europe the other day. You know what I mean? It was like, man, they didn't know. They look out for me way in Europe. $75. That went towards eating. You know what I mean? So that was pretty good. I liked it. That somebody in Europe thought about me. You know what I mean? Like that was I've never even been to Europe. You know what I mean? So
hey, they're all
like that just makes you smile.
They're all rooting for you, man. And, I want to tell you, the industry is behind you 100%. So if there's anything that I can do, and if you want to come on and talk about the recent announcements that you guys are, going to be planning for 40 tons and the brands and the products, just let me know, man. We'll have another conversation.
Right. Yeah, we're going to be on Weed Maps 422. We've got a couple of things. 420, we're going to try to make it a big day. You know what I mean? We're trying to get the book out. I got to look into my eyes coming. We're trying to get that out for 20, but we got to get it edited and get it ready for you guys. But so we can tell a real story, and we don't want to be judged. I don't want anybody to judge me when I read part 1. Just keep reading. I'm going to grow. You know what I mean? I'm going to be kind of young and immature in part 1. You know what I mean? So let me be immature. Let me grow in part 2. And in part 3, I'm going to grow more, and then I'm going to get caught. You know what I mean? And then
Corvain's saying don't cancel the young Corvain. Just
don't say, oh man, I thought he was like this. But then you read the book and say, oh shit, he was like, you know what I mean? So just gonna let me grow. Just grow with me,
For sure. Hey, we're all growing, and we're continuing to grow. Anybody who says that they're done growing, either they're full of shit or they're ignorant, because we should always be growing and thriving.
Yeah.
So, hey, well, thank you, Corvain. Really appreciate it, and thank you all for listening. Bye.
Thank you.